Bandana Gaming, the channel where Logan will show you everything from gameplay to gear. Their crew is here to take you on a journey through every atmosphere. Releases to news, you don't have to choose. Red Bandana Gaming is here for you.
Hey everybody, Logan here, and today we're talking about another GameCube remaster. Well, could be a GameCube remaster. Could it? Well, maybe, possibly. It was a series that was on the GameCube, at least part 2 was, and that's Soul Calibur. Oh, we've seen a number of GameCube remasters with Resident Evil 4. We have, what was it? Metroid, and now Betan Kaitos coming out. So Namco, creator of Betan Kaitos, which we'll get to in the following article from Nintendo Life, where we're going to discuss the possibility of seeing a resurgence of the Soul Calibur franchise. For those of you who don't really know, Soul Calibur originally started on the PS1, and it was called Soul Edge, and then later on the Dreamcast with Soul Calibur, and then GameCube, PS2, Xbox, Soul Calibur II, and then Soul Calibur III was only on the PS2, and then Soul Calibur 4, so on and so forth on PlayStation 3, 360, and so on and so forth. So since then, apparently, it's gone radio silent since 6, when 6 was a number of years ago, for the Xbox One and, what do you call it, the PS4? So since then, we've had nothing. But now it looks like Bandai Namco. Why did I call it Namco Bandai? I think I was reading something that made fun of it the other day. But let's look at the article so I can get more into detail. Because there is a quote. There's a quote. That's why I'm doing the article, because there is a quote. So, like I said, this comes from Nintendo Life. Soul Calibur's classic games are rumored to be getting remastered. Bandai Namco. Wow, I'm terrible. Bandai Namco renewed the series trademark last October 22, like I noted. Here, let's pull this up. Here is the quote. Now, we're going to skip to here. The information comes from journalist Nick Baker in the latest Xbox Era podcast. Baker notes how his source hasn't really clarified if it's a remaster or the first game in the long-running fighting series or an entire collection of the earlier entries. Quote, "We all love remasters, right? Everyone loves a good remaster. So that's what I've heard Namco might be looking at. Unclear whether we're just getting the original Soul Calibur remaster or if they're doing a remaster collection of the games." So we're going to skip down to here. Interestingly, this rumor follows Bandai Namco renewing the trademark of Soul Calibur in October last year after the second game was delisted from the Microsoft Store in May 2022. Now there was a version of Soul Calibur II on Xbox Live Arcade that you could download that way, and that was one of the ways to play it on a modern console. I still have it. I had no clue that it was delisted. I might go back and play it just because, now that it's delisted, it might be the only way to play it and for you guys to see it. While only an Xbox release was referenced when discussing this rumor, Bandai Namco tends to port its fighting games to, I just realized what I just read, but blah, blah, blah. So they've done Klonoa and Pac-Man remasters as well, and like I mentioned, Betan Kaitos. Betan Kaitos was an RPG from the GameCube era, 1 and 2, but from my understanding, this is still going to be a Nintendo exclusive. There's something about Nintendo and Namco Bandai Namco. I'd still do that. Having some kind of license issue. But with that being said, what do you guys think? Are we going to get a new one, like just a new original Soul Calibur, fully remastered, new models, new physics, all that, like they've been doing the big, bold remasters, or is it just going to be a 1080p 4K gloss shine kind of get it at full 60 frames. I think it was actually 60 frames on the Dreamcast, at least Soul Calibur was, from my understanding. So it was very smooth. I think they're just going to upgrade the models, maybe, if that's the way they go. Now, if we do a whole collection, I don't know about that. Then I think they might just polish up, give every game, make sure every game has a full 60 frames, and maybe 1080p 4K, depending on which version you're playing, whether it's Series X, PlayStation 5, or Switch, because we know the Switch's limitations compared to the other two. So we'll see what they do there. And there are licensing issues with the special characters, with Link being the GameCube version. Hayachi, that's not a problem because it is owned by Namco, but Spawn at the time, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the reason he was in the Xbox version is because they had just come out with a Spawn game for all the consoles at that time. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was put out by Namco. I do own that game on the GameCube. I think it was on the GameCube that I currently own it. But it was a solid game, and I think that's what enabled them to put him in the Xbox version, because yeah, who else did they have? Master Chief really wouldn't fit, because what would you do? Pull out the guns? And then he was also in, well, it wasn't Master Chief, it was a Spartan that was in Dead or Alive, and we all know how that goes. So, what do you guys think? Do you want to see a remaster or remake of Soul Calibur 1, or do you want to see a collection? I think I'm willing, I don't know which one I want. I would love to see a collection of all the games on modern console, and yes, I would get the Switch version if they did put Link in it, because he was definitely the superior character of all the exclusives. But I would really, really like to see a PS5 Series X quality version of Soul Calibur 1. Yeah. Let's see. Well, only the future will let us know, because in due time. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell for notifications. Why? Because it's not just for more great videos, it's our new podcast, Ready to Start podcast, featuring myself, yours truly, of course. That's the main reason to subscribe and watch it, right? Right? Yeah. No, but we also got Nick Duel from Click to Enlarge and Punisher 305 from Miami Geeks, which you should subscribe to their channels as well, and watch Nick on the Twitch and whatnot. We also had special guests in the first episode, Ninja Turtles. He might be returning, so on maybe another time. And Jessie Wildemar from, her channel, the same name, was on episode 2, and she might be returning with a number of other special guests down the road. So to see who those special guests are, which I've already in talks with 3 other people, which you may know, you should know, if anything, just again, remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video, turn on that bell so you always know when we go live, and then when videos come up. But thank you guys so much. I'll stop rambling on. Like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.